And the game went extra innings. And Holland pitches the 10th inning for Kansas City with a man on second, and Holland strikes out the side. Yes, strikes out the side. Now, we know Holland's velo is not what it was, but some good news. His fastball is 1 mile per hour faster than it was when he was released last year with Arizona. That's the first good thing. Second, he's throwing his slider primarily. And as long as that slider continues to bite, Holland can be a very good option at closer. Now, how many games will he get to close in Kansas City? I don't know. But I know Brady Singer is a good starting pitcher. Very good. And he pitched Saturday against a stealth Cleveland Indian lineup. And he looked fantastic. He's going to pitch this week against Detroit. That's right, the Tigers. Doesn't that taste good if you're Brady Singer? I mean, I can just see a buffet spread out. And it's got Detroit Tigers all over it. And Singer's going to pitch good. And now it looks like Holland's going to be the closer in Kansas City, at least until further notice. What about Seattle? Are you interested in a Mariners closer? These guys are all out there, okay? I'm trying to give you great information this morning, players you can pick up in fantasy who are available, and I got to believe a guy like Taylor Williams is available in fantasy. Had you ever heard of Taylor Williams until now? He closed the game out this weekend for Seattle, looked pretty good doing it against Houston, and we know that Houston lineup is nothing to sneeze at. So he's a guy you may want to look at for closers. Now, how many of you guys drafted, like me, Anderson in Tampa, thinking he's going to be the closer? Okay? Well, guess what? He's not the designated single guy they're going to for saves. So if they're not going to him, who are they going to? Nick Anderson did pitch and did pick up a win on Saturday. He pitched an inning and a third, scoreless innings. He earned the win, but the save went to Oliver Drake. That's right, write that name down. Oliver Drake. Not any of the main pitchers we had spoken about early in the year that might be a potential closer for Tampa, but now it's Oliver Drake getting a save for Tampa over the weekend. I mean, Kevin Cash has got so many weapons out there, and I just think you've got to keep your eye on that situation. Oliver Drake in Tampa. I'm not saying you should cut Anderson, but it looks like that could be a day-to-day decision on who's going to get the save or get the save opportunity. And over the weekend, it went to Oliver Drake. Going through the weekend, 2 pitchers who really disappointed me for different reasons. And maybe their reason for disappointing is different. Did you watch Shohei Ohtani yesterday pitch for the Angels? No outs, 6 base runners. He came out early. It looked like his stuff was there, but he could not throw a strike. And when he did, they hit it. So was it just nerves? Can a player in Major League Baseball truly prepare as a starting pitcher and as a full-time batter? That's the question. Can a player in Major League Baseball in today's game with all the specialties going on really do that? We'll see. I know that the Angels have an incredible lineup. They're expecting Rendon back this week. They're going to score a bunch of runs. And if you put Ohtani the full-time DH, and that's all he does this year, he's going to hit a ton. I think that's what I would do with him. Now, I read somewhere that there's some talk about Ohtani becoming a closer. Maybe, I don't know, but if he could just focus on one or the other, because he can pitch, he can hit, but doing both in today's game, it's not like we're going out on the ball field at the schoolhouse and playing a pickup game on Saturday afternoon. There's so much technology and so much research, and it's just a different game. And so I don't know what the Angels are going to do with that. Look for him to start Sunday. But who do they play Sunday? They play the Houston Astros. And are you really crazy about putting Ohtani out there in fantasy in your lineup Sunday playing the Astros after the way he pitched yesterday against the A's? I'm not that crazy about it. We'll see. The other pitcher of the weekend that was disappointing to me was Big Maple, James Paxton. Paxton, I've been reading this for a couple of weeks. The Yankees were concerned, and still are, that Paxton's velocity is down. We know he had the back surgery early in the spring. His season start would have been delayed had we started on time. Because of the delay due to COVID, and the season starting in July, he could pitch, but his velocity is not where they want it. And it showed in droves Saturday evening playing against Washington, giving up all those runs in the first inning. He was taken out after one inning. I think you put Paxton on your bench this week in fantasy. I don't start Paxton this week. Until that velocity starts to increase, Paxton stays on my bench. It will be interesting to see. Jordan Montgomery pitched this week. Jordan Montgomery, according to Aaron Boone, is going to pitch Game 6. Today is Game 4. So that means he will pitch on Wednesday. I think Jordan Montgomery has great stuff. He'll do a great job. We'll see how things work out for Montgomery over the weekend. On Wednesday. I just think that he's going to do a great job for the Yankees, and I'm looking for great stuff all season from him. So, let's switch the gears a little bit. I want to talk about some waiver wire pickups on the infield this week. I want to take a look at first base and third base first, and some players that you might be interested in that will be, possibly out there on your waiver wires. Maybe not, but these are all players that are owned in less than 50% of fantasy leagues. I'm not going to go with picking up Pete Alonso. Okay, he's not available. We're not going to waste our time on that this morning. We're going to start talking about C.J. Cron, first baseman, Detroit, owned in about 38% of leagues. He really checks all the boxes, okay? He hits in the middle of the lineup. He plays every day. He has power, 30 home run power. And he's going to be playing against, let's look who he played against this weekend. This weekend he played against the Reds. And that included the likes of Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray. The Reds bullpen, he went 4 for 11 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Now, I think that's a great start to a year. So we know he's got real power. He'll have his ups and downs, but his playing time is secure for the first time in his career. And he next faces the Royals, although Brady Singer will pitch probably Wednesday or Thursday. That's the only real stud pitcher in the rotation the Royals have. And the Reds again next week, and all of these games are in Detroit, which plays well for a power hitter like C.J. Cron. So put Cron at the top of your ad list for this week. Also, Will Myers. Now, I'm not a big believer in Myers, but the Padres are for real this year. And usually, good teams bring out the best in even average players. Myers has played 155 games or more 3 of the last 4 seasons. He has stolen 16 bases and hit at least 18 home runs in those 3 seasons. It was 2018, 2 years ago, when he played only 83 games, but then he still managed to hit 11 homers and steal 13 bases. So what am I saying? I'm saying I think Myers is almost a must-add. If you need some speed and need some power, he brings both. Some pop, and he's going to be playing, it looks like, every day. He changed his batting stance over the summer. He's pivoting more on his back foot. This should help him both hit for average and power. And with the secured playing time in San Diego, you got to go get Will Myers. Nico Goodrum. How about Nico? He wore a diamond. No, that was Rico. Without much notice, without any fanfare, Nico Goodrum is now the leadoff hitter for the Tigers. I like players who hit in the top 3 of the order. Now, he can have an issue with batting average. That's true. But he can steal you bases. I don't think Detroit's problem this year is going to be necessarily scoring runs. I think Detroit's problem this year is going to be stopping the other team from doing that. So at the top of the order, and look, he plays everywhere. I think he's first base, second base, shortstop, outfield. I mean, that's the kind of player we'd love to have in fantasy. Another player that I watched over the weekend, he's hit 2 home runs already, is Ian Happ for the Cubs. He started every game so far. He does bat at the bottom of the lineup. He and Victor Caratini have played every game. But the appeal here is the power and speed element that Happ brings. And I know they played the Pirates this weekend. I know they play the Reds this week, which is not necessarily the easiest staff to face. But they go against their number 4 and number 5 starters to begin the week. And Great American Ballpark, as we know, is truly a great ballpark to hit in. So I'm looking for great things this week from Ian Happ. Yoshitomo Tsugo, third base outfielder for Tampa Bay. Now, we've only seen 1 hit so far this weekend. That 1 hit was a shot. Came off of a left-handed pitcher, and of course, Tsugo is a left-handed batter. He's hit 3rd or 4th in the lineup over both of the games that he played this weekend. He should be a mainstay. Kevin Cash talks about him with rave reviews. So I think if Tsugo is available, he's certainly someone that you want to go pick up. Now here's a real long shot, because I watched him play this weekend, but now the problem is Miami's canceling games. So I don't suggest you pick him up. But when they start back playing, I like Jesus Aguilar. I think he hit the home run over the weekend. He's going to play every day. Certainly a corner infielder that when Miami can start back playing, you want to take a look at. Now, let's talk about some middle infielders. And I've already talked about Ian Happ, so I won't talk about him again as a middle infielder because he plays in a lot of positions. He can play the corner and the middle. But how about Colton Wong? Colton Wong is 4 for 12 this weekend. He's going to steal you some bases. He's 29 years old. He's had 3 seasons with at least 11 homers and 15 stolen bases. And he swiped 24 bags last year. Career 261 hitter, but he's actually hit 285 over the past 2 of the last 3 campaigns. I really like Colton Wong. And if he's available in your leagues, I think he's a good add this week. Another good add this week, Nick Solak, who can play second base and third base for Texas. Look, he had 293 last year in limited time. He had 5 home runs and 2 stolen bases. And I know there are a lot of mouths to feed in Texas. Okay, you got Calhoun, who was hurt, now he's back. You got a first base situation that's in flux. But Solak has started 2 of the 3 games for Texas. He hit second in one of those games. He singled as a pinch hitter in the game he didn't start. And so he's able to play different positions, and he will gain more position eligibility as the season goes on. So look at Nick Solak. What about Freddie Galvis for Cincinnati? Now, Freddie Galvis is one of these players. He's never really exciting. He's never really someone I'm going to draft Freddie Galvis. No. But he performs. He really performs. He's averaged 17 home runs and 11 stolen bases during the past 4 seasons. Last year, a career high 23 home runs. He's got a great ballpark. He's got a great lineup hitting around him. And he's only owned in about 10% of the leagues. Similarly to that is Jonathan Schoop. Now, it used to be that all he could do was hit home runs and not much of an average. But he's 28 years old. He seems to be locked in, hitting second in that Tigers order behind Nico Goodrum. I think this will be a breakout type year, even though it's only 60 games, for Jonathan Schoop. A 28-year-old. Remember, he is really a 4-stud category. He doesn't steal bases, but he can hit for average, power, RBIs and hitting second, runs scored.